We now move on to Chapter 5, Traffic Control Devices. As usual, we have our knowledge objectives. By the end of chapter number 5, students will be able to understand the purpose and value of traffic control devices, explain the role of color in the use of traffic control devices, identify and explain the meaning of the three basic types of traffic signs, identify and explain the role and meaning of traffic control signal lights, and identify and explain the role and meaning of pavement markings. And as usual, we have our attitude objectives. By the end of chapter number 5, students will accept that there is a serious rationale behind the placement of passing and no passing warning signs, and they must comply with all traffic control devices. So let's start off with traffic control devices, their definition and purpose. Traffic control devices include traffic signs, signal lights, and pavement markings. The purpose of these devices is to help ensure highway safety by providing for the orderly and predictable movement of all traffic, motorized and non-motorized, throughout the highway transportation system. Traffic control devices provide information about laws, dangers, and the roadway. Then we have communication modes. Traffic control devices communicate their message in several ways: by using the device's color, shape, words, and placement to provide information. Traffic control devices direct drivers' actions and provide a framework of uniform guidance. Colors also communicate meaning. The color of traffic control devices communicates substantial information, regardless of their shape, words, or graphics. First, we have yellow. The meaning of yellow is general warning or caution. Then we have fluorescent yellow, green. This is also a type of warning sign. Then we have orange signs. This means it's a temporary work zone. Followed by green. This means directional guidance, which indicates movement is permitted. Then we have brown signs. This is recreational and cultural interest guidance type signs. Then we have blue signs. This is motorist service guidance. Then we have red signs. This is stop or prohibition. Black is regulatory information. White signs, also regulatory information. And the newest type of sign we have out on the road today is fluorescent pink. This is incident management. Then we have the general meaning. Designed to be easily understood, traffic signs have uniform shapes, colors, and legends. Once drivers learn the general meaning, they can quickly identify the intended message. Then we have symbols and words. In addition to colors and shapes, signs may display symbols, words, or a combination of symbols and words. Word messages are read from left to right or from top to bottom. With few exceptions, symbol-only signs are interpreted from the bottom upward. Sign shapes and colors can generally be identified well before their symbols and words become clear. Then we have sign types. There are three basic types of signs: regulatory, warning, and guide signs. Each conveys a different type of information. So let's start with regulatory signs. These tell drivers what they may or may not do. Such signs inform drivers of laws that apply at a given time and or place. Examples of regulatory signs include stop signs, yield signs, and do not enter signs. Then we have warning signs. These warn drivers of specific road, environmental, and traffic conditions a short distance ahead. Examples of warning signs include two-way traffic signs, lane added signs, and a deer crossing sign. Next up, we have guide signs. Guide signs come in several shapes and colors and provide drivers with information about routes, exits, and distances. They also indicate points of interest, recreational and medical facilities, and roadside services such as gasoline stations, lodging, and restaurants. Examples of guide signs include destination and mileage, route markers, and roadside services. But we also have international symbols. Because so many United States citizens travel abroad and foreign residents travel to the United States, more traffic control signs are beginning to use graphic symbols for quick recognition. Then we have route numbering. Many signs feature route numbers that aid drivers in navigation. The interstate system features unique shield-shaped signs, which are blue on the bottom with a red band across the top. The primary route number is either a single or double-digit number. East-west routes have even numbers. North-south routes have odd numbers. Many non-interstate route systems use a similar system of communicating route direction. Then we have interstate spurs and loops. A loop usually bypasses cities or congested areas and meets the primary route at both ends. Loops feature three-digit route numbers that begin with an even number. A spur is a short route that connects with the primary route at only one end. Spurs feature three-digit route numbers that begin with an odd number. Next, we have traffic signals. These indicate who has the right-of-way. Traffic signals are used to control traffic by indicating who has the right-of-way. It is critical that highway users understand the meaning of each color and symbol and respond in the appropriate manner. First, we have red. This means stop prior to the pedestrian crosswalk, stop bar, or roadway edge line, and do not enter the intersection. Then we have yellow. This means the right-of-way is expiring, and you should be clearing the intersection because a red light will follow immediately. Then we have green. When traffic is cleared and it is safe to do so, you may enter the intersection. Then we have the signal sequence. The standard signal sequence is green, yellow, red, green. To assist drivers who may be colorblind or whose view may be partially blocked, signal colors are always in the same order. Next up, we have light positions. When signals are in a vertical position, the red light is always on top, the yellow light is always in the middle, and the green light is always at the bottom. Horizontally mounted lights display the red light on the left, the yellow light in the center, and the green light on the right. Now we have countdown timers. Some pedestrian signal systems feature countdown timers, which indicate how much time is left for pedestrians to cross the street. To assist the sight impaired, many of these emit audible beeps that correspond with the countdown. Next up, we have pavement markings. There are multiple types of different pavement markings. Let's start off with yellow lines. The meaning of yellow lines. These are used to separate traffic traveling in opposite directions and to indicate the left edge of multiple lane divided highways. Then we have yellow center lines. These may be single, double, solid, or dashed. Then we have a single broken yellow lane line or a broken yellow lane line to the right of a solid yellow lane line. This means that the driver can pass if it is safe to do so. Then we have a solid yellow lane line to the right of a broken yellow lane line. This means that passing is prohibited. Then we have a double solid yellow lane line. This means that passing is prohibited in both directions. And then we also have reversible lanes. These are marked with double dashed yellow lines. Reversible lanes can improve the flow of traffic by changing the direction of travel within lanes. Reversible lane signals can also be used to ease traffic flow in tunnels and on bridges. Then we have shared left turn lanes. The solid and dashed yellow lane markings that identify shared left turn lanes look similar to those used to indicate a no passing zone. White left turn arrows on the pavement between the yellow lane markings tell drivers that the lane is to be used for making left turns. Shared left turn lane pavement markings are often used where there is a high volume of traffic and where vehicles are turning into and out of businesses on either side of the street. This lane may be used by vehicles traveling in either direction when turning left from the roadway. Tips for using a shared left turn lane. Use the shared left turn lane only to turn left. Do not get into the lane too soon. Watch for vehicles pulling out of driveways and cross streets. And always yield the right-of-way to any vehicle that is signaling to enter or that has already entered the lane. And finally, for chapter number 5, we have pavement markings. White lines can also be used to guide traffic around obstructions, mark curbs, and control parking spaces. So the first type of markings we have are dashed white lines. These separate two lanes traveling in the same direction. Then we have solid white lines along the path of travel. These are used to mark the right edge of highways. Solid white lines also are used between lanes to indicate areas where lane changes are discouraged or unlawful due to increased danger associated with such movements. Then we have solid white lines running perpendicular across traffic lanes. These identify stopping points and pedestrian crosswalks. White symbols and words on the pavement identify movements that may or must be made from or within a lane. They may be used to warn of an upcoming stop sign, signal or school zone, control the direction of travel, or mark railroad crossings. Then we have restricted lane markings. Restricted lane pavement markings or signs appear on heavily traveled city streets and expressways. During certain hours of the day, traffic in some lanes may be restricted to buses, turning vehicles, or high occupancy vehicles, HOVs, where passenger vehicles contain 2 or more people. Restricted lane pavement markings and signs are designated by a diamond-shaped symbol. White symbols and words on the pavement identify movements that may or must be made from or within a lane.